In this devlog, we're going to be making post-processing effects and updating the perk system for my game, The Last Flower. Last time we worked on adding a bunch of art to the game that took it from this to this. Since last time, I've also added a sprite for the flower, so it's no longer this boring blue block. And if you watched last episode, you know that the flower is the center of the game. It's the last flower in existence, and as the player, your mission is to defend the flower from the evil fungal monsters that want to destroy it. The flower sits in this protective dome that keeps it safe from the spores of the fungal monsters, and the white coloring of the flower is meant to contrast with the dark coloring of the rest of the world. It sort of stands out as a symbol of purity. But enough about all that highbrow symbolism. Let's talk about the cool stuff. Post-processing. So for those that don't know, post-processing effects in games are basically visual filters for your game that change how it looks without requiring you to manually change any of the art assets. Or in simpler terms, post-processing effects are basically Instagram filters for your game. Now, prior to working on this game, I've never actually used post-processing effects, so this was all new to me. I learned how to add post-processing effects to my game through Unity systems, and then just messed around with the different values to see what looked kinda cool. I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted the game to look like and generally what effects I wanted to use, so I took some time to adjust the different values around until I found something I thought looked pretty good. I ended up using a few different effects together, which took the game from looking like this to this. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how it looks, but of course this is open to adjustment later. One of the concerns I have with adding these effects is that I've heard of other games adding options to either adjust or completely turn off these effects because players found them really annoying or difficult to look at. However, in a lot of those games, the effects were sort of bonuses on top of the existing visuals of the game, whereas in my game, they're sort of necessary to help solidify the entire look and feel of the game that I'm going for. I tried to find values that weren't obnoxious, but I'm also the only one that's been looking at this for a while, so I'm definitely biased. Let me know in the comments if the post-processing looks good, or if you think I should change it or add sliders to the options menu to adjust some of the values, or do something else. The other big feature I worked on since last time was the perk system. In the last video, I got the basic structure of the perk system down, but hadn't really implemented it properly. I spent some time thinking about how to implement the system and got some good advice in the comments. I decided to go with a vending machine style approach where the player can spend some of their sweet cheddar to get a random perk that will improve their character. The perks I've implemented so far are damage increase, fire rate increase, movement speed increase, defense increase, and ammo capacity increase. They all sort of do what they say. Damage increase increases the amount of damage you do, fire rate increases your rate of fire, etc, etc. They all have cooler names that make sense in game universe when the game is wrapped up, but for now these are the placeholder names. I have plans to add a bunch more perks, but this is the starting set for now just so that I can test things out. There will be a lot of balancing to do as I add more perks, but that is a problem for future me. The plan is to add a way for the player to be able to have some choice in what perks they get. I'm still debating between a few different implementations. One I'm thinking of would let the player sell the perks that they don't want, and another one would be more like a nuclear throne style where you can choose from a small selection of perks. For now though, I'm just leaving it as a random selection until I have a better idea of what will fit the game. I also did a couple of smaller things. I added a health shot for the player to restore health and added the same thing to the flower so that you can restore the flower's health. There's also a couple of bug fixes I made. The bullets no longer collide with the flower or the dropped currency, and the player can now walk through the flower since before it made movement kind of awkward. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this devlog and thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video if you liked it and subscribe so that you know when the next episode airs. I'm Tyler Haddad. See you next time.